Yeah.
Okay, that's a yes. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so those are going to be out there for you guys, and I'm building a library, and so I've got a lot of content. And so as I get into this whole thing, and as we move forward, you're going to be finding that there's a lot of content out there. I pretty much do this. So I'm recording right now. This is week two, February the 3rd, 2021. This is Monroe Community College, and this is the spring 2021 semester. So we're going to go ahead and start that. So that's a little bit of my marker, and now we're going to move on. So once you get into AutoCAD, the things you want to look out for are typically the different elements that actually show up on your screen. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is you want to be aware of the different elements that are on your screen, which you have right here. So the different things that we've talked about so far are the application menu, the quick access toolbar, the ribbon, the command line, the prompts that show up when you're working with AutoCAD. We've seen that. And we've also saw the status bar. We saw that you opened up the status bar to do these things. And we saw that you can start commands doing different kinds of a thing. But let me just show you one thing. I'm going to go back to AutoCAD. And I want to just do a quick review of a couple things here. First of all, the thing I did want to point out here that's very important is this. When you go into your object snaps, these are the four that you typically want to use. You want to use these four. Those four actually would be right here. This is your dynamic input, which I've got right up here. It says dynamic input. This is polar tracking, looks like a pizza. Moving over here to the far right, that's object snap. That's what allows you to snap from one point to another. And then we've actually got next to it, we've got object snap tracking. So all those work together to give you a lot of power as you first start working with AutoCAD. So those are the four you want to have on. So just to show you where those are at, just to be very clear, because I realize that not everybody is aware of what I'm talking about here. So I want to be very, very
Professor,
clear. The question?
could you explain what the object snap is?
Yeah, sure. Object snap, what that allows you to do, first of all, let me point it out. It's actually right down here on your screen. Okay, this is your object snap. Looks like this. Looks like a square with a smaller square on it. I'm going to hover my cursor over the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as I do that, I'm going to go back over to here. Let's see here. That should let me do this. Okay, but anyway, so I've got this here. Okay, that's it right there. Now, if I hover my cursor, or if I right click and I go to my object snap settings, you'll see that what I've got right here are endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, and extension. What these allow you to do is to snap, okay, or in other words, to connect when you're drawing with exact precision to mathematical geometrical points. Meaning, you're going to be able to connect a line to the exact corner or intersection of two lines, or you can connect to the exact center of a circle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
That's what object snaps are. Object snaps are actually at the core of what you would work with AutoCAD. So those are a big deal. So one of the things too here, I think that I did, I'm gonna go ahead and go out here, see if I think, yeah, I say first drawing. Now, for those that were here last week, this is our first drawing. If you remember, we went ahead and used this. And as we worked on this right here, you saw that we actually used these different tools to actually draw this. So we drew this, and as we drew it, we were able to go ahead and to complete this with accuracy. We're able to go through here and do this right there. So let me just check. Okay, so we went ahead and used the template for this one right here. And we talked about how templates are used and how we're actually able to go through that. So we actually used object snaps. So let's do this. We're going to do another one real quickly just to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do another one. So to do this, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go back out here and we're going to download the template. So go to Blackboard. Okay, if you're not, so we want to go out to Blackboard, which is out here where the class assignments are. And you would want to go out here, I believe it's under AutoCAD Intro Assignments Week 2. And I believe it's out there. And what you're going to see is you're going to see right here, you got the basic drawing template. And this is for drawings A through E and H and J. So those drawings right there, A, B, C, D, E. It's not for F, it's not for G, but it's for H and it's for J. Okay, that's what this is right here. So when I click on this right here, what that does is it opens up this template, okay, downloads a template. And this goes to my downloads by default. Yours probably does too, but you may have it set up somewhat differently. So once you've got that, what we're going to do, let's go ahead and do this together. I'm going to go ahead and close out of these drawings here. I'm going to close out of this one and close out of this one. And what we're going to do is from this area right here, from the starting area right here, save changes. No, don't need to do that. You're going to notice that right up here, I've got an icon up here that looks like it says new. I hover my cursor over it and I click on new. And when I do that, it's going to go ahead and it's going to show me my templates. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. I don't see that template that I just had. AutoCAD sucks. Well, no, it doesn't. What it did is it just saved it to your downloads. So you have to change the directory. So this is something you're going to have to get familiar with when you're working with computers in general, if this is new to you. So to do that, we do a search. We go ahead and take a look for where that might be. And so over here, I'll go here and I'll go ahead and take a look at right here. This is me, I'm the user, and down here to downloads. And Shazam, there it is, basic drawing template A through E, H and J. There it is. And this is my third version of this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it. Now, when you double click on that, it starts you off and you'll notice that right now I am on the object layer. So being on the object layer, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So now what I would do right here is I'm just going to go ahead and draw a rectangle. So we talked about rectangles last week. It's right up here. I'm hovering my cursor over it. And if I hit my drop down here, you'll see I got rectangle and polygon. They share the same location on the ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose rectangle. Now go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to pick one point and then we can go ahead and drag it up and pick another one. And this is where I could type in the value that I want right now. Notice my hands are not on the mouse. I let it go. So I could type in 5, 5, 5, 5. And what that does is it takes the values I just gave it. 5 is the X value and 5 is the Y value. When you're working with AutoCAD, X and Y are the two values. One controls the horizontal, one controls the vertical. X controls the horizontal, Y controls the vertical. That's how that works. So I type in 5, 5, hit enter, and boom, I've now got this in place right there. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else here that's new. I don't think I did this last week. But if I type in the letter L, you'll notice that AutoCAD is quick to interpret what I'm doing right here. And what it's doing right now is it's telling me that I have some choices of what command I want right here. So the very top one, what's my very top command right there?
Line.
Line. And so that right there being line, actually that means that right now L is the shortcut for the line command. So if I just hit the enter key, it starts the line command. I go to the upper left and notice that what I've got up at the upper left is a square. The square represents an object snap. And hovering my cursor over that, what is the object snap in question right there?
Endpoint.
It's endpoint. So you click here and we pull it down here, and that is also endpoint. I hover my cursor. Okay, then to end your command, you right click and choose enter. Now at this point, I can right click my mouse at the very top. If I right click right then, I have repeat line up there. So I click there and I'm going to go from the upper right down to the lower left. Okay, so I've got those. Okay, now that I've done that, hit my escape key. Now, if I want to draw lines going from the middle of the lines across, that's my midpoint object snap. So notice if I touch my cursor here, I don't see anything, but if I hover it up, and if I keep on hovering, come on you, where are you? Start my line command, try that again. So I start my line command, and it looks for right here, and you'll notice that it gives me this triangle. I hover my triangle, it tells me that that is a midpoint. So I click on that and pull it across, midpoint to midpoint. Very good. Then I can do the same thing up here, start my line command, and I go midpoint to midpoint again. Go from here on down, so I have that. This is just review. And then to make a circle, I could go to circle right here, and I could choose center radius, okay? So when I do this, AutoCAD is going to prompt me for different values. So I click on this, and then I pull my cursor right over here. And when I hover my cursor over here, that's my endpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and click there. That's what I want. And then I can make it as large or small as I want to. So I'm just going to type in 0.5, boom. And this is how I could continue going all the way around here. And I go that, and this is how we go ahead and place this. And this is how we do this. So you basically just use the prompts in AutoCAD. And as you do that, you're good to go. You got that. Okay, so that's what you have there. And then I'm going to go to circle. I'm going to go tangent, tangent, tangent one more time. So go to tangent, 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 go to here. I'm going to go ahead and touch it here, and touch it here, and touch it here. And when you do that, it fills the circle. So this is a review. We did this last week on that first drawing. Now that we have that, next thing we're going to work on right now is some basic elements right here. I want to show you guys how to basically do some other things here. So what I want to do is, now that we got a basic idea as far as how to do that, I'm going to show you guys how to do the next drawing that's in our stack. Okay. Now the drawings that are in our stack we talked about last week. I'm going to save this as save it as second drawing. What the heck? I'll come back and do something else. second drawing dash TMB like that. Okay, so I've got that in place. So now I want to show you guys something here. Now, as we began to work with this, and as I began to see these, one of the things that I wanted to access here was going to be my stack of sheets right here. So there should be a stack of sheets here. Where is that one? Let's see here. All right, should be. Okay, that's like that. Okay, and yeah, it should be. Looks like it did it this way. Okay, I'll go to here. So I'm going to go to here, and what I want here, I got my AutoCAD 2019 practice files. Now, I had a question last week. Where are these? Okay, because you want to download these, you want to print them. Typically, when I teach this in my class, I print them up for you and give them to you. But since that's not possible, what you want to do is you go out here to Blackboard, and it would be out here under AutoCAD Intro Assignments, Week 2. And you've got this right here. You got the AutoCAD Intro Assignments right here. This is where you download it. This is where this is. So click there, it downloads it, and this is the stack of sheets right here. I'd recommend you print this. So we did drawing A and drawing B last week. We're going to continue on here, and we're going to draw drawing C. So drawing C has something different going on. It actually has two things that are different. First of all, the lower left corner is at an angle. Well, how do we do that? We're going to find out how to do that. So we're going to work on that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull up my stack right here, which is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to drawing C. Okay, and I'd recommend you guys do the same thing. I'm going to go through this process. I'm going to go back and forth. And what I'm going to show you right now is actually going to be useful for you to continue to learn these different things. Okay, so check this out right here. Let me just kind of point something out first of all. I'm going to give you a rule right now, and you got to memorize this rule. When you're working with AutoCAD, actually, I'm not doing the mirror. I got to do the mirror here. If you go to the right, and maybe it's best if I don't do that. So if you go to the right, that is positive. If you go to the left, that's negative. If you go up, that's positive. If you go down, that's negative. Okay, now what it means is this. When you're working with AutoCAD, you're going to have basically a sense where AutoCAD is going to say, okay, I see where your cursor is at right now. And then for you to type in a value, AutoCAD needs to know, do you want me to go to the right? Do you want me to go to the left? Okay. Now, if you just pull the cursor over to the left, you can just type in a value. But if you have to type in an X and Y value, like we do here, that's where this comes in handy. So let me ask you a question here. If I'm down at this corner right here, at the lower left corner, and I am going to begin to draw that angle, I'm going to draw it using an X and Y value. X is going to the right. X is going to the right. That's my horizontal value. So take a look at the drawing. What is my distance going over to the right from that corner?
1.
It's 1. Okay. So would that be, since it's going to the right, that's positive. Now it's going down. How far is it going down?
1.
It's 1. So it's 1 to the right and 1 down. Right is positive. Is down positive or negative?
Negative.
It's negative. Okay, that's the rule. Right is positive, left is negative, up is positive, down is negative. That's the rule when you're drawing right here. So what we're going to do, we're going to draw this right now. I'm going to start in this upper corner. Now I got to do a little bit of math here. Take a look at this right now. And this is a softball over the plate. There's nothing tricky about this. You learned how to do this adding and subtracting a long time ago. But let me ask the question. If my overall distance is 4, and then I've got the other values that are on there, how far down would I draw that first portion of this particular part?
0.5.
0.5.
0.5, exactly. So I start up here and I go down 0.5. Very good. Now I'm going to go over in this direction. How far over to the right am I going to go? Take a look at it, make sure you understand it, and then tell me with boldness, what is that distance?
1.
1. So it's 0.5 down, 1 over. Now I'm going down again. Now as I go down right here, it tells me this, and you're going to have to do some adding and subtracting. Take a look at it, and you tell me how far down would I go?
2.5.
2.5. Very good. Now once I got the 2.5, I'm at this corner right here. And this is where I type in 1, comma, negative 1. That's my X and Y. 1, comma, negative 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that together. So I'm going to go back over here. to AutoCAD. I'm going to start this. So I'm going to start my new drawing by going over to here. I'm going to close out of this one, and we can do this together. I'm going to go to new. Okay, I'm going to click on my new icon right here, and it asks me, hey, where's the template? Hey, AutoCAD sucks. It's not there. No, it's there. I just have to go find it. You have to download it. So you go out to where your downloads are. You go out to where those are. And this is, if you're not familiar with Windows, you're going to get familiar. So you go out here, wherever it's saved it is where you want to look. And Shazam, there it is, the basic drawing template. And you open it up. Now, once you've opened it up there, I'm going to go ahead and start this. Okay, so now we have that. So I'm going to start with my line command. And what we said is starting at the up, and I'm not going to worry about where I start right now. I'm just going to start at the upper left. Click here, and I said 0.5 down. And then I said 1 over. And then I said 2.5 down, 2.5 down. All right, now that's where we come into this angle right here. In this angle, we'd said that it's over to the right 1, and then we said it's down 1. So 1, comma, negative 1, okay? The X and Y value, the X value is positive, the Y value is negative. So 1, comma, negative 1, I hit my enter key. Boom, it gives me that value. And then pulling it over to the right, that next distance, I have it on my sheet, but it's 3. I type in 3. And then going in this direction, take a look at this. Now, I'm going over to this other side. So let me go ahead and ask you. I'm going from here, and it's the same distances as over on the other side. So I'm going over to the right. Is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Exactly. I'm going up. Is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Exactly. So I go 1, comma 1, 1, comma 1. Once you learn this right here, this is one of the big keys in AutoCAD. Just get through this and life gets a lot easier. So 1, comma 1. Now, before I hit my enter key, notice that my graphics driver pushes it way over to the side. That's just a bogus thing AutoCAD does. Just have faith, hit your enter key, and it goes ahead and draws it in place. That's how that works. So there's some things that AutoCAD does that are just kind of like, I've been working with for a long time. It's like, yeah, idiosyncrasies. That's one of them. Then I go up 2.5, and then over 1, and then up 0.5. And again, my goal right here is to give you the tools that you need to complete these different projects. So I'm going to use close. I right click, I choose close. Boom, there it is. Okay, so we got that. Now that is how we go ahead and put that together. And before I go any further, I'm going to save it as the appropriate thing, which is going to be here. I'm going to go ahead and call it Drawing C-Brennan, like that. That's what you want to name it, Drawing C-Brennan. Now, to get this rectangle drawn, there's something very interesting I'm going to show you here. I'm going to start my line command. I'm going to start it here. So when I start it, what I can do is touch it right here. Now notice when I touch it, I can pull away from it. Now notice my hands are not on it right now. I pulled away from the side. What it's doing right now is giving me a dashed line. What color is that dashed line?
Green.
Green.
It's a tracking vector. And I'm asking these questions just to make sure you're not asleep. Okay, so yes, it's green. So I'm pulling it over to the side. Now, what's the distance? How far do I have to go over? Taking a look at this, what is the distance over that I have to start this rectangle? What's the distance?
1.5.
Exactly, 1.5. So I go ahead and drag it over, type in 1.5. All right, now from there, I got my starting point here. Now it's actually a 1x2 rectangle. So I type in 1, enter. Pull my cursor over to the right. Now I have these values, so I don't have to type in an X and Y. I don't have to because everything is there on the drawing for me. And then I go ahead and do one more thing. I'll go ahead and do that, and boom, that's done. Voila. And then we talked about putting in dimensions. So I'll go here, and I'll go ahead and choose dimensions. And I'm going to go up here and choose linear. And when I choose linear, I'll go ahead and do, we'll use this. And I'll go ahead and do linear. And linear actually should give me this. No, it's not. Okay, so do it one more time. Linear. I'm going to go ahead and pick here and pick here. When I do that, it gives me that value right there. Pull it right up. And then I want to put in the next value, which is going to be from here to here. And I pull that. Oh, looks like I missed. All right, so I'll try that again. Repeat dim linear. I'll go from here over to here, and that should be 5. There we go. And then I've got the other dimensions, which we talked about, you know, going from the top all the way to the bottom. I click there to there. And we got those. So you guys understand how to put the rest of them in there. And this is what it looks like right here. That's what we have right there. So you got 7, you got 5, and you put in the other dimensions. That's how you do drawing C. Now, that's actually a big deal. Doing drawing C is actually a big deal because doing drawing C allows you to go ahead and to place these items in your drawing as you just saw right there. Okay, let me ask you guys a question here. Who here does not have the ability to do AutoCAD right now as they're working right now? Does anybody not have the ability to do this AutoCAD drawing right now?
Good.
Okay, somebody does not have the ability. Okay, or do you guys? Okay, do I take that as a yes, you don't, or no, you don't? Okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to go ahead and work on this. This is drawing C. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes, and if you have any questions, let me know. But I'm going to just kind of like leave this up on my screen. I'm going to leave drawing C up there. I'll let you guys draw that and put in the dimensions. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and I'll go ahead and let this go right now. If there's any questions, let me know. I can pull your screen up and I can help you. But for right now, just go ahead and start to draw that, and let me know if you have any questions. So start now. Okay. Okay, let me ask you this question as we're going along here. Is anybody drawing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll let you guys draw then. Give you guys a couple minutes. I teach a lot, and the thing is, typically I can see your screens. I could actually kind of like go ahead and start to ask you for your screens, but I was going to give you the 5 minutes I talked about. And if you have questions, please ask, because this is one of the great things. I can actually go ahead and I can go ahead and make you the co-presenter, and I can actually take a look at your screen. So if you have questions, let me know. This is where the learning happens. No shame, no harm, no foul. If you have a question, please ask. I'm here to help.
How did you get the first point of the inside rectangle?
Okay, what I did there, I used what is called object snap tracking. So watch this. Once you got this drawn, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Okay, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to touch this, my line. Okay, now watch this. Remember, I got the line command going. I touched this here without clicking, and I pulled it over to the right. You see that?
Yep.
That's called object snap tracking. This is one of the marvelous things in AutoCAD. It allows you to actually draw in relation to other objects without actually necessarily making a line. You could just draw the line too and then erase it later, but this is a little more elegant. So then you pull over the side, and we talked about how far over that was. It's 1.5, okay? Does that help?
And you just start typing, like even though there's no typing box?
You type in 1.5, it's going to take it. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how you do it. You got it. You got it. And I'll put that back up there for you guys because I know you're still working on it. I'm glad you're working on it. That's good. I wasn't sure how many of you guys had a chance to do this, but you're doing well. And as you're going along here, you guys got about another minute. I'll give you guys another minute or two.
How do you make the color of your line blue? Mine's white.
Okay, what you do right here is when you get into it, did you start with a template?
Yeah.
You started with the template. You started with the template that I gave you.
Oh wait, no, not the one you gave me, I don't think. How do I find that?
All right. Okay, back to here. Okay, here's the thing. Because if you're asking it, everybody is asking the same thing. I gave you templates, so life is easy for you. Okay, you can start a CAD drawing from scratch, which if you did, we'll draw them in white. However, use one of my templates. This is what you have right here. It's on. Okay, are you with me? Can you see Blackboard right now?
Yep.
So you go to AutoCAD Intro Assignments Week 2, and what you would do is you go right here. See it? Basic drawing template right here.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, you download that, and then you can just double click on it. It'll go ahead and start AutoCAD, and it'll go ahead and start with that template. And when you start it, it's going to start with the object layer, which is cyan, which is like a blue-green color. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you want to always do these different drawings in my class. Now, just because I like to, we're going to get to the other stuff, but I just want to show you how to go ahead and do that. So go ahead and work on that, and I'll give you guys one more minute because I kind of took a little minute from there. Anybody else have questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting tripped up on the first diagonal where it's one down, one over.
Yep.
How did you get that again?
Okay.
Like to get it perfect?
1, -1. And then hit enter.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And then, yeah, and that's the one thing you got to learn is, I'll say it again, right is positive, left is negative, up is positive, down is negative. And it's kind of there's kind of a little bit of a, thing about that. Up and down, that's true. Right and left, most of us are right-handed, so you think of it in those ways right here. Yes, it's biased for left-handers, but anyway, I'm trying to give you guys a rule of thumb, so to speak. So you guys have that work. That's a phrase, rule of thumb. Anyway, and since I'm a bass player and I do slap and pop, I actually do use my thumbs for playing my bass as well. So I do that as well. So I am a bass player. I actually do play bass, and I'm from Detroit. And so when I was in Detroit, I actually used to play with some people that were pretty good. And I'm going to throw this out because it always kind of like is, I don't know a lot of famous people today. I don't know a lot of famous people, but when I was in Detroit, I actually used to play with Chad Smith, who's now in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You guys ever hear of him?
Yeah.
He's the drummer. Yeah. Well, I used to play with Chad when he was in Detroit. If you look it up, you'll see he lived in Detroit and he lived in Birmingham, and that's where I went to school. So we were jamming together. He actually did this one summer, my senior summer, we played 3 gigs together, and he still owes me $50. He never paid me. I called his house and I said, hey, Mrs. Smith, is Chad around? And she, covers up the phone, and, I hear some kind of shuffling. Oh, no, he's not around right now. Oh, okay. Well, tell him Tom called. And so she said, okay, sure, I'll tell him. I'm still waiting for the call. Anyway, so he actually met up with a friend of mine, and I'm sure it slipped his mind. Not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it. But yes, Chad Smith owes me $50, and that's the truth. So anyway, so I play bass, and rule of thumb. Rule of thumb means it's a rule that you use over and over again, but when you're playing bass, it means you slap and pop, which is something I do. So anyway, that's kind of cool. So anyway, and the present bass player with the Red Hot Chili Peppers is Flea, who slaps and pops like crazy. The guy's a maniac. He's a very good player. Anyway, we'll move on from there. So we're going to go on from there. Does anybody have any other questions before we move on from here?
I do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is good. This is why we're in class. What's up?
So I drew everything, and then when I went to put the dimensions in, my dimension over the top that's supposed to be 7 inches, the dimension came up as 6.9.
Ah, okay, let's do this. All right. What you may have done is this. Can you show me your screen there, Brooke? Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and make you the host. I'm going to make you the co-host right now, just so I can see this. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, and then I'll change it back after a little bit. But go ahead and do that. Now, you should be able to share your screen. Can you go ahead and do that right now?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, so what you got going on there? 6.9.
Yes, super quick.
Yeah, looks like
Yeah, I can do that.
looks like you okay. Let me take. Let's see here. Can you pass control over to me? I think there's a place you can actually give me control. If there's not, that's okay.
How do I do you know how I do that?
There should be on the
A
panel.
remote control.
I
Okay.
think it's the place where you let me take it over. Let me see if I can, okay, let me see if I go to the view options. Looks like-
I found it. I just gotta.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so now I'm here and let me do, okay, there we go. So I'm zooming in and out. Now, first thing you want to do is when you're in this book right now, I'm going to go ahead and click on this line. When I click on this line, one of the really cool things about AutoCAD is when I do this, it tells me what the size this is if I hover my cursor over here. So if I hover my cursor, okay, you see that's wrong. It says 6.8967, okay? So at this point, something went wrong here.
Shift, huh?
Something went wrong.
Works the same exact way.
Hello, question? Okay, I can see what happened here.
He's still on
Hello?
turbo.
James, you're not muted.
Hey, mute, hey, yeah, you want to mute? I'll have, okay. Yeah, I mute
Thanks.
you. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we'll go here. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm opening up my properties. And what I'm going to do right here is you'll notice that right now, this particular, I got 2 lines selected. This line, can you see how it's slightly crooked?
Yeah.
Okay, now watch, I think I can fix this. So let's go here. I think we can. So I'm going to show you how you do this. So go ahead and go here, and grab this and grab that. And when I got that over here, let me show you something. See the angle right over here?
Okay.
Yeah, the angle right there is 92. Now at this point, I can't really fix that. So what I can do is delete it. And then the best thing I could do is go ahead and draw, change this over to here. And I'll just draw it real quickly. So I'll go to here and I'll go here and I'll go right up to here. And I'm going to go from there straight up. And the distance is 2.5. So it's going to be off by a hair, but that's normal. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead now once I've got that, I know which one's right and which one's wrong. So this one, I can go ahead and move over. I'm going to move this, this line here. If I can grab it. It's really hard to do this remotely. I'm going to grab this if I can. Yes, I got it. Okay. And this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, now I'm doing a quick edit. I don't always, can you guys all see this, by the way?
Yes.
All right, so what I'm doing right here is I'm doing kind of a quick edit to show you that, yes, indeed, you can fix it. And I'm going to go here and plant it right, come on you. All right, screen keeps shuffling. Oh, okay, are you doing that or am I doing it?
That was me. I
Right.
wasn't sure if I could still.
Hold on a
leave.
second, hold on a second. Okay, boom. All right, there we go. Now at this point, you'll see down here that it just didn't like this. So we're just going to grab this and I'll go ahead and complete that. And when I do this, we should be good to go. And it should be 7 if all goes well. And is it? Ta-da. Okay, so that's how you can go ahead and fix it. Okay, so what happened is you were just slightly off. I mean, you're off 2 degrees. So therefore,
And slipped.
yeah, that happens. It does happen. Okay, let's see here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to give a remote control first of all. And I think you have to give, I'm not sure if I can take control back or not, or if you have to get, let me look and see if I can take it back. I think I can reassume control here. Let me see here. Back to here. I think I can go back and make myself the, let's see, no, not that.
I stopped sharing.
Okay, can you guys see my screen again?
No.
No. Okay, let me share it and I'll make sure we're there we should be. And let me see what we got going on here because there's all these little tools right here that I use. Okay, we're good to go there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm the host. I'm gonna go back to it, go back over here. Nope, I'll go here. And okay, let me see if I can't share this. Okay, let's see here. Should be able to. All the things I do to make sure it all works. So, oh, here's one. Maybe that's it. No, that's not it. Let's see here. All right. Let's see if I can't do it this way. All right. Let's try this. Okay. Can you guys see my screen now?
Nope.
No. Okay. Let's see if we can do this. All right. That's not coming up there. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm the host again here. Let's see here. Should be able to do this. Oh, there we are. Okay, let's see here. Over here, participants, I think. Okay, share screen again. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to stop there. So save drawing C. Okay, we're going to move on, and we're going to forge ahead, and we're going to do another one. And so as we go through here, you're going to see that there's kind of a logic to what I'm doing right here. As I go through this right now, what I'm trying to do is show you how to go ahead and draw these elements with confidence and how to check it and make sure it's right. That's important, because if you can't, the whole thing is when you're learning something, here's the secret. Here's the secret. When you're learning something, this is what you do. First of all, you gotta walk before you run, okay? And then you gotta crawl before you walk. Many people are not willing to crawl, and therefore people don't learn things because it's tough to learn something new, but you guys are doing a tough thing. So you're learning how to do this. So we're going through the crawl phase. We won't crawl for long though, and then we're gonna be where we should be. So anyway, going back to here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next practice file. So we did that. That's drawing C. Now, drawing D, isn't this interesting? Now, drawing D, as you take a look at this one, take a look at my screen right here. It's like a folding box. It can be like a cube. We take this, we go ahead and fold this up. Now, here's what you can do with this. We learned last week how to use a rectangle. Now, since we learned how to use a rectangle, guess what you could do here? You could actually use this rectangle over and over again and draw this particular object. That could be done. You could also just simply draw lines. But if we use a rectangle, it makes life a little bit easier. So let's do that. So I'm going to show you. So notice that this is 1.5 typical, TYP. What that means is when you see TYP, that means that every place in the drawing that logically would be assumed to be the same as the other one, it is. So TYP typical means everything's typical, means all those are typical. So 1.5, all of the squares are 1.5 by 1.5. And these tabs right here are all 2.5 by 2.5 on the angle. That's what they are. So let me show you how to draw this one. Now this one, again, I can use the same template. So watch how we do this. We go over here. This is kind of cool. So I save this, and that's good. I'll go ahead and close out of there. And does it ask me to save changes? Yes, I will. So now what I'm going to do is back over to new. I use new. And what do I want to use? Okay. Oh man, I can't find my template. Well, your template, of course, is where you saved it. Okay. You always want to use a template. And I go out here, I go out there, and I go to the downloads. Okay, go to the downloads, and it's right here, basic drawing template. There it is. You might want to save it to your desktop because you're going to be using it a lot. And then when you got this right here, notice that I've got the object right here. So object's right there, it's available. So now that I've got that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which is click here. I'm going to make a rectangle. I click here, and the size of my rectangle was 1.5 comma 1.5, and hit my enter key. Boom. Now there it is, okay? Now that I've done that, I could just simply draw more on top of it. So to repeat that, I could right-click my mouse, repeat rectangle, click here, and then 1.5 comma 1.5, boom, easy enough, okay? So as I'm drawing this right now, there's actually a way to copy this. We're gonna get to copy and moving probably maybe a little later on tonight. But right now, I just want to start facing. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use this, click there, and then 1.5 comma 1.5, boom. All right, then we do that. And then I go ahead and do it up here one more time. So there, and then 1.5 comma 1.5. I'm deliberately being repetitive, even though there's faster ways to do this. So I'm gonna go this way. Now I'm going in this direction. So 1.5 comma 1.5 like that. Now this side over here, I want to do this side. Now, I could do this a couple different ways, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna start over in this direction. Now, if I'm going over here, I'm going in this direction, would I be going negative or positive going over to the left?
Negative.
Exactly. So negative 1.5 comma 1.5, boom, and there it is. So once you've done that, that's how you put that together. I'm going to save it as drawing D, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in drawing D, D-R-E-N-A-N. All right, there we go. Drawing D, Brennan. Okay, so we got that. Now the next thing I have to do is I have to accommodate these tabs. The tabs are 0.25 in the X and 0.25 in the Y. All right, you learned how to do this, okay? So we go back to here. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start with this one, and since it's 0.25 in both directions, I'm going over to the right and I'm going up. Going to the right, is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Going up, is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Exactly. So it's 0.25 comma 0.25, boom. Now, once I've got that, I've drawn this first part. So I've taken 0.25 off my overall length. The whole length is 1.5. I just took off 0.25. The other flap is going to 0.25. So that means I got 1 left. So I type in 1. And then here's the cool thing. I can just go ahead and snap this. I don't even have to type it in. If I was going to type it in, I'd type in 1.5 comma negative 1.5 because I'm going down. But I would have to do that. I'm going to click there. So once I've got that, I've got that in place. Then I'll do the same thing here. I'll go right here and I'll click there, and it's going to be 1.5 comma 1.5, boom. Whoop, and I went too far. So I'll stay inside here. 1.5 comma 1.5, boom. Whoa, hold on.
It's 0.25.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. 0.25 comma 0.25. I've been teaching all day. Sorry. And then over this way, it's going to be 1. And then go over here, right here. Now from this corner, I can just actually continue on going in this direction. Now, in this direction, I'm going to the right, which is positive, and I'm going down, which is negative. So it's 0.25 comma negative 0.25, like that. And then I go down 1. And then I can just snap. Come on, you. All right, like that. Go there. Now in this case, I'm going to the left. Is left negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative.
Left is negative.
I'm going down. Is that negative or positive?
Negative.
Exactly. So negative 0.25 comma 0.25. Oh, negative 0.25. Negative 0.25. Boom. And it draws that out. I've got that. Then over 1. And then I go ahead and snap it like that. And that's how we go ahead and put that together. When you're done, you put your dimensions on it. Now, one thing I'm going to show you, because it's something I know you're going to ask me, is this right here. I'm going to go to my dimensions layer. I'm going to linear. Now watch this. I can go ahead and pick a point here and pick a point here, and I pull this across. It says 1.5, but what's it missing?
Typical.
Yeah, so to put that in there, watch this. I double click on it. I double click on it and it turns purple. And when it turns purple, you'll see I've got my cursor flashing at the front of it. So if I want to put my notation behind it, I just use my arrow key. I use my arrow keys to move it to the back, to the front, to the back. So to the back, type in enter to put a space in. And then I click up here, close text editor, boom. That's how you do it. So that is how you would do drawing D. I'm going to put that up on your screen and I will let you guys work on that. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes for that. So there you go. Let's go ahead and work on that. It's right now 6:56. I'll give you till a little bit after 7 o'clock. If you have questions, please ask and I'll be happy to help you with it. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Are you guys drawing this right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you guys a couple more minutes and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next thing here. So save your work. And I'm gonna do the same thing right now. I'm gonna go back to here. I'm gonna save it. And I can come back to it a little bit later if I want to. I'm gonna save it and just save it as drawing D, Brennan. Okay, that's how you guys want to submit them. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so now I'll tell you what, we're typically supposed to take a little bit of break right now. So let's take 5. We'll take 5 minutes, we'll come back. So just take a few minutes, just it's a little bathroom break, get yourself something to drink, whatever. Need to make a phone call. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll come back in 5 and we'll continue on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to mute my microphone and I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna push ahead here. Now that we're doing the very basics right now, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys something else here. We've done these basics right now. Now what I want to do is I want to move into the next thing. You got some basics as far as like how to draw some kind of basic elements. I want to go into something else here, and that's going to be actually reaching into here, and I'm going to open up another file that actually has to do with, let's see here, actually should be open here right now. Let's see here, open. Yeah, okay, and so, and LC class files, PowerPoints, yep, there we are, okay, and I'll go to here for, okay, going into this is drawing precision in AutoCAD. That's not the one I want, I actually want 5 is what I want. Let me try that, open 5. Okay, making changes in your drawing. Okay, this is going to be an important one. We're going to cover the 5 basic editing commands: move, copy, rotate, scale, and mirror. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to do this. So as we get into this right now, I'm going to basically have us all open up a certain file. So to do this, what I want you to do is going back out here, what I'm going to do is go to Blackboard. Now on Blackboard, I've got all this content here, and you'll see it says week 2 CAD files out here. AutoCAD intro assignments, week 2. I got the week 2 CAD files. Let's take a look at them. And I've got a file under here that's actually called select right here. It's green. Select drawing, modify commands. Okay, go ahead and open up select, the select drawing. All right, you should be able to click on it. It's going to download. And so it's going to be right here. It's called select. And when you open it, I'm just going to double click on it. And it's opening up in 2020 because I have like 8 different releases of AutoCAD on my machine. So now it's using 2020. But that's okay. I've been using AutoCAD for a long time and I have to go back and forth. So select looks like this. All right, so we have select. Now, now that I have select looking like that, I'm going to open up in a different one. I'm going to go to here and I'm going to open it up in here because I want to. So I'm going to go to here and go to my downloads and I'll open it from there. So here, open. All right. Downloads. And there's select. Okay, select looks like this, and you got this right now. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so now this is the drawing right here. So, okay, I just want to know who's got this drawing open. Does anyone have this drawing open right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of you do. Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to show you right now. The rest of you guys is just going to be, this will be academic, but that's okay. All right, let me show you something here. When you're choosing objects in AutoCAD, I think I showed this to you last week, but I'm just going to show you again right now. One of the most important things is selecting objects. So if I want to select an object and move it, I can just click on it like that. And when you click on it, I got the question last week. I referenced these. When you click on these, those blue squares are called grips. Those are grips. And they allow you to control the placement and editing of objects, okay? So for this one, I'm just going to click on the center. And when I click on the center, it turns red. That means it's editable. Then I just take it, I can move it like that. All right, boom, like that. So I was able to do that. That is how you can, that is one way to go ahead and move objects with grips. If I click on this line right here, that's all one object right there. So I don't want to use that. I'll grab this line right here instead. And this line right there. And you'll notice that this actually also has grips. This has 3 grips, one on each endpoint and one at the midpoint. So if I click on the midpoint, I can take it and click on it and drag it. Once it turns red, I can drag it. So I can go ahead and drop it like that. So I can go ahead and do that. Another thing I can do is if I click on it, if I go ahead and hover my cursor over here and click, I can right click and choose rotate, for instance. I can rotate it. I can rotate it at a different angle, okay? So these are all different things that you can do. So as we get into this right now, I'm gonna have us go through this process right now. But the next thing I wanna point out is you can also select multiple objects. Now, how do we do that? If you don't have a command running, and the way you can always tell if you don't have a command running is to look down here on your command line. Right here, if it says type a command, that means you're in neutral. That means no command is running. And that's something you want to be aware of. So if no command is running and you click your mouse to the upper right and you pull your cursor, you get this green this green selection box, this green selection box, and you'll notice it's got a dashed line around it. This is actually called a crossing, and this is actually used to select items. Okay, notice that the objects, as I touch them, they are completely selected. Okay, they don't have to be fully enclosed. Okay, look at the circles right now. I'm only halfway across them, but they're selected. Next row, same thing. As soon as I touch them, they're selected. So that is how it works if we go from the right to the left. If I go from left to the right, it's blue. And so if I go down here, I go to blue. Notice right here. Notice that nothing selected, nothing selected, nothing selected until I go a little further. And then everything, all these get selected. Okay, if I go here, that's selected, that's selected, that's selected, and so forth. You go like that. And then down here, you got this, like that, and like that. So all these, you got these all selected. So that's how we go ahead and make these work. So that is how you could select items. Now, as you're working with your move command, we're going to go ahead and do this way. So those are following along. I want you to do this. I want to show you where these commands are. The commands are actually located right here. They're actually located in this location right here. So as you look at it right here, you'll see that you got the move command, copy, rotate, mirror, and scale. They're all right here. So if I go to move, I can start the move command. Now, the beauty of the move command is the move command prompts you through each of the different steps. So I'm going to start the move command. So I start the move command, and those who are working, go ahead and do this with me. Click on move. And when you click on move, what does my command line say right now? What am I being asked to do?
Select object.
Select objects. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this circle right here. So I'm going to click this circle right there, and I click on it. And when I click on it, it gets highlighted. It turns blue. Now, in AutoCAD, let me go ahead here. Looks like I've got a couple of chats. One thing here. Does anyone else have a striped square on your screen? Okay, someone's got a striped square. Okay, do I have a striped square on my screen right now, guys?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's blocking.
Where's
Where's
the stripes? Where's the striped screen? Where's it located?
I
I
have
think
them
it's when
all
you
over
have
my
other
screen.
windows open.
Is it on the right? Is it on the top? Where is
Yeah,
it?
There's
it's on
one
the
on the
right,
right and there's
the
one
top.
underneath the bars.
Okay, what I'll do, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll minimize this. Okay, is that one gone?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, this one right here, I'll go ahead and see if I can't pull that one out of the way. Let me pull this one. Okay, did I just move it?
No, you
Yeah.
kind of added to it.
Yeah.
You moved it behind the other one though.
All right, yeah, I can't do that. This one right here, I can close it. All right, is that better?
There's still one more there.
Still one more there. Is it this small one right here? Is this better right down here?
Sure. Yeah, it's better.
Okay, because there's nothing I
Way.
can do because that's like a little, that's my control panel. So I'm kind of surprised that it's giving you that. But anyway, it is what it is. So once you start the AutoCAD move command, it asks you to select objects. Okay, now when I'm done selecting objects, AutoCAD and me are going to get into a Mexican standoff. You know what a Mexican standoff is? Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Mexican standoff right now. Someone's got to budge. Someone's got to do something. Okay, and so what I have to do is I have to tell AutoCAD I'm done selecting objects. So to do that, I can right-click my mouse or hit the Enter key. They both do the same thing. So I just right-click, and that when I right-click, my mouse changed. What does it say now?
Specify base point.
Yeah, specify the base point or. So I want to specify the base point. Now, if I had to move this circle, what would a logical base point be to move the circle?
The center.
The center.
Center, exactly. That's what I would use. So I'm gonna go here and click on center. So I click on the center, then I'm gonna pull up here and I'm gonna pull it up to the midpoint of this rectangle here. I click and that's done. So that is how I use the move command. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to repeat that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back up here to move. I'm gonna click on this, click on it, it gets selected. Right click, I go over here and I grab the center and I go ahead and drop it there. Do it again. Right click and goes move again. Go to here, right click, go there, and drop it there. All right, this is how I'm able to go ahead and to make this happen. And I will go ahead and do that. And I'm just right clicking. I go through the prompts, select objects. When I'm done selecting the objects, I right click. I ask me to specify a base point. I do that, and then the second point. So let's go ahead and put that first row of circles in place right there. Those that are using that right now, go ahead and do that. And that's how we go ahead and make that work. These are important commands right now. As I'm showing you this right now, this particular file, this select file, I actually use it specifically because it's easy to use. But I want you to go through this and practice with it, okay? Because these are the 5 most common commands. So let me go back over here for a second. And when I go back over here, I want to show you what I have right here. I've got this. So we talked about selecting objects for editing. We talked about window selection versus crossing selection. One is green, one is blue. And then we have this right here for selecting objects. And so the move command is the one that we just did right now. The move command actually allows you to start it. It asks you to select objects, and then you hit the enter key. So you select the objects, then you hit the enter key, all right? And that's what you do right there. And then you select the base point. And then you select the new location point. So that is how we go about doing that. It's 5 steps. Start the command, select your objects, press enter, select the base point, select the final point. That's how you do that. So those are the 5 steps right there. So going back over to here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the copy command. Now the copy command is very similar. It's identical to the move command except for one thing. It leaves the original in its place, so it doesn't move the original. So I'm going to go here to copy. Copy is right here. It's right underneath move. So I go ahead and click on copy. I'm going to click on this top right circle. I'm going to click there. So I click on the top right circle. It says select objects. How do I tell AutoCAD I'm done selecting objects?
Enter.
Enter. What's the other one?
Right click.
Right click. Exactly. So I'm going to choose this again. The center is a good base point, so I just pick that. And watch what I can do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I hit my escape key to end it. That's how you're able to use the copy command. So you got move, you got copy, and this is how we go ahead and go about doing this. And this may be something you guys will use, you know, as we go through here, but this is important stuff. You may need to go over the video again. It's okay. Don't forget we had a 5-minute break, so you got to fast forward it so it didn't freeze up. It's actually right there doing this. And so next thing. So we got move, copy. Now the next one is rotate. So how do I use rotate? Well, rotate allows me to do this right here. I got copy, I got rotate. Rotate, you select your objects, and then it's going to ask you to select a pivot point, a base point, a pivot point. How do you want to rotate it? And you pick a point that you wanted to pivot around, okay? Now, once you, like in this particular example right here, your pivot point is right here at this location right there. So that'd be your pivot point, and then you type in an angle. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to go up here to our rotate command. Rotate is right up here. All these commands are right there. So I click on my rotate command, and I'm going to click on these by clicking and selecting these right there. So once I've selected them, I'm going to right click, and then it asks you for a base point. The base point is going to be the bottom center right here. Bottom center, I click there. Now once I've done that, it lets me kind of freestyle, and I can go ahead and put this anywhere I want to. So I'm going to just spinning it around right here. But I don't just want to kind of freestyle. I actually want to type in the value. So I'm going to type in 345, 345 for 345 degrees, and hit my enter key. And when I do that, that goes ahead and rotates that. So I want to go ahead and right click, and I'll continue to do the same thing with all of these right here. So I do that, and they're all going to be 345 like that. And as I do this, I have to do them individually because their base points are all unique. So I've got to do that. All right. And that is how we do this. 4, 5. Boom. And one more time. Like that. Okay, so that is how we do the rotate command. So you got move, you got copy, you got rotate. Okay, there's another one. Now these are the basics. Once you learn these, you can do pretty much anything in AutoCAD. So the next one I want to show you right here is this one right here. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to open back this up. And the next one is going to be called scale. The scale command lets you make objects larger or smaller, okay? And it does it the same way. You start the command, you click what you want, you hit the enter key when you're done, you select a base point, and then you type in a factor. If you type in the number 1, that means it doesn't get bigger or smaller, but so you wouldn't do that. But if you type in 0.5, it makes it half its size. If you type in 2, it makes it twice its size, and you can type in any number you want. But that's how you go ahead and do that. So going back over here to AutoCAD, going back to here, what I'm going to do now, So go back to here, and I'm going to use my scale command. So scale is right here. I got scale right there. So click on scale, and I'm going to click on this upper circle right here. Click on that. And when I clicked on that, I'm going to right click. I'm going to pick the center right there. I'm going to type in 0.5 to reduce that. So right click, scale, and I go through the same steps. Click on the object, right click, pick the center point, type in 0.5. And this is how we go ahead and make this happen. And this is how this would work. And again, each one of these, it has to be put in individually, primarily because I want you to get the experience with it. I want you guys to edit with this and actually repeat it, be repetitive. That's what I want. Okay, we do that. And then this last one down here. And we'll go to here and go there and type in 0.5 one more time. There we go. Okay, so what we got right there is we use the scale command. So we use move, copy, rotate, scale. They all have the same kind of syntax. They all have the same steps, 5 steps basically that are involved. Start the command, select your objects, hit enter when you're done selecting, pick a base point, and then choose another base point or type in a factor. All right, the very last thing is going to be mirror. So I'm going to show you how to use mirror. Now, when you use the mirror command, you're going to be prompted to pick a first point of mirror line. Now, think of it this way. I'm basically, I'm a dad right now. I got 4 kids, and I've got 11 grandkids. And the girl, I've got a bunch of granddaughters. And so the granddaughters, as we're working with them right now, my wife is like in her glory. She loves working with the granddaughters, and we both love all of them. It's a great thing. But she does crafts. My wife does crafts. And so here's the thing. When you were little, you may have basically made Valentines when you were a kid, okay? When I was in kindergarten or first grade, I think they made us do this. You take a piece of red construction paper, you fold it in half. And then what you do is you cut the shape of a heart out on one side. And then when you open it up, it's a full heart. So you put half of it on, and then you get the other side. That's how AutoCAD works with the mirror command. The mirror command is where you fold the paper. So watch this. So what I do is I use the mirror command, which is right here. I go to mirror. So you click on mirror, and then it asks you to select the object. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab all this, the whole schmear or enchilada, whichever you prefer to eat. So go ahead and grab all that. And once I've grabbed all of it, I'm going to right click. All right, now, here's the thing. Specify first point of mirror line. Where would I fold the piece of paper? So I go here, I want to fold it here, and watch what happens. I pull it down. It begins to give me a preview. I didn't even click yet. I pulled the mouse down, and now that it's totally straight, I can just go ahead and click on that point. So I click on it, and then it says, do you want to erase the source objects? In other words, do you want to do a full mirror and just forget it was ever the other position, or do you want to keep the original? I want to keep the original. So hit my enter key, and that's the mirror command. So I'm just going to continue to do that a couple more times. So I'm going to go to mirror right here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. My machine is really slowing down over the Zoom connection, but that happens sometimes. And we'll go through there, do that. And I'm going to do it again, mirror again. And I'm just using everything that I have on my screen here just to kind of make it consistent.
Hey, Professor.
Yeah.
Quick question. So I hit mirror and I start to draw like the box, and it's literally like a blob. It's not like a straight full-on equal sides box. It's just
here's
nothing.
why. Here's why. Okay, when you do that, you have this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, click and let go.
Oh, okay.
2 different ways to do it. If you click and let go, you can make a rectangle like that. If you hold it down, AutoCAD says, oh, they want to make a custom shape. It's called a last.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you found out something that's very interesting. It's a blob. Very, very good description of exactly what you meant. So this, you tap on it, and you can actually make a rectangle. Tap and let go and make a rectangle. Hold it down to make a customized shape. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. So for the mirror thing, I'm so sorry. I got like tripped up on this because I was like trying to figure it out, and then it wasn't working, and then I completely wasn't paying attention to what you're doing. So
Okay, that's okay. So what you'll do, I'll go ahead and just back it off a couple, and we'll go back to here. Okay, there we are. So what you would do is you'd start the mirror command. So you start the mirror command, you'd select everything like I'm doing right now. Like
okay.
that. Okay. Now once you selected everything, to tell AutoCAD you're done selecting, how do we do that? How do we tell AutoCAD we're done?
Enter.
Enter or right click. They both do the same thing. Exactly. Very good. Now, the first point of your mirror line is where you'd fold the piece of paper to make your Valentine. To use that analogy. And we'll go ahead and we'll click here. We want to click here. Okay. We're going to fold it here and pull it down. Make sense?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And it gives you the preview. And so what you do is you click, but you're not done yet because then it says, hey, do you want to erase the source objects? Meaning I'm going to copy this unless you want to get rid of it. If you hit your enter key, it keeps it. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so those are the 5 basic commands right there. Move, copy, rotate, scale, and mirror. That is your CAD vocabulary right now. So your CAD vocabulary is this: line, circle, rectangle, okay? And then move, copy, rotate, scale, and mirror. That's your vocabulary right now. And that is enough to do an awful lot right there. It really is. So let me get into what we're going to do now. Okay, so now it's 7:30. We learned how to do that, and that's how we do some editing. So just tuck that in your hat because you're going to need that. Okay, so that's just some experience because I can't just let you go for too long without starting to show you some of these editing things. Now let's get back over to here. Back over to our different items that we're going to be drawing here. So I'm going to go to here. Okay, so we went ahead and did D. I'm going to let you guys figure out, oh, actually this one, I guess I'm going to show you how to do this one too. Let me show you drawing E. So drawing E is right here. Now notice that drawing E says 60 degrees TYP. Okay, so I got some TYP things. So how do I do that? That's where I'd change my polar tracking. So this is where we actually can put this together. Okay, so this is where I'd go ahead and make this, I'd go ahead and put this together, and I can go ahead and make these shapes right here. So you'll notice that this is what the sides of this are 2.5 typically. Okay, so let me show you how I do this one. So check this out. I'm going to show you this. So it's 2.5. Remember, it's 60 degrees typical. So I'm going to go back to AutoCAD. I'm going to draw this one. So I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out of this one. I'll come back to that one later, and I'll close that. Save changes. No, I don't want to save the changes. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to New, and right here, asking for a template. The template I want isn't there. AutoCAD sucks. No, it doesn't. You just have to go look for it. You go out here. What I'm going to do is, for sure, I'm going to get the questions like, well, I don't know what a template is. I don't know where it is. Well, you download it from Blackboard. It's all there. And then you go and find it. And when you go into it, there it is again. Basic drawing template, A through E, H and J. So I'm going to use it for this one too. So we go through here. Now, remember what I said, that it's 2.5, okay? And it said that the angle is 60 degrees typically. So first thing I have to do is I have to tell AutoCAD that I want to use a 60-degree angle. So how do I do that? There's a little tool called polar tracking. I'm going to hover my cursor over it. It looks like an alligator. I hover my cursor over this polar tracking. Looks like this right here. That's the alligator. That's the polar. I'm sorry, wrong one. That's the not the wrong one. I told you. It's getting late. The polar tracking looks like a pizza. Okay. So the polar tracking is right here, and to the right of it is a small little triangle. If I click on that, it lets me pick a different angle. So since that's 60 degrees common, 30 degrees will get me there. So this will give me an increment of 30 degrees. And this is totally kosher. So I'll click on 30, and now I have that. So now that I've done that, I'm going to show you something else here. Now, as you're working with AutoCAD, you can actually use a tool that's called the polyline. The polyline is right next to the line command. And the difference between a line and a polyline is that a polyline is all connected into one piece. So for this project, we want to use the polyline. Okay, we'll get to more polyline later. Let me show you how to start it. So don't use line. Let me say it again. Don't use line. Use polyline. So you click on polyline. It's much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and I actually have this right here. And I said that the distance was 2.5. So I'm going to click up here and drag it up and type in 2.5 and enter. Now I'm going to pull my cursor down here. And when I pull it down here, I want it to lock in at 30 degrees. You see, 30 and 60 are the same. So even though it says 60 degrees is typical, 30 works in this case. So just you hold it at 30. If you hold it at 60, it would be like up here somewhere, which is what you don't want that direction. You'll get to that later. But right now we'll go here. We'll go here and we'll go there. And the distance is 2.5, like that. Let me pull it down here, and that's 2.5 again. So I got that. So once I do that, that's in place. So that's just a typical triangle. Now that I've got that, I can go ahead and start my polyline again. I'll go from start from here, and I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to go ahead and draw it right here, and that does lock in. That's again 30 degrees, 2.5 again, and then I pull it straight down, right like that. Okay. Now at this point, I just so happen to be well situated to continue on down here. So I do 2.5 here and then straight up. And so I'm trying to show you guys how to save time. And, you know, I don't want to just make you do everything repetitively, but a lot of this I can just go ahead and go through here and I can go ahead and do that. So that's your first shape right there. Now from there, I'm going to go from here and Shazam, I go ahead and lock that in. That's 2.5. Then I pull this down to here. All right, go there.
Can we use the mirror element for this?
You sure could. You sure could. I'm just showing it you this way to give you another opportunity to do it, but you certainly could do that if you feel like you're up to it. There's going to be a little bit of figuring you got to do with this, but that's okay. That may be the best way for you to do it. You can just use this and flip it around. I could have done this using that as well, but I'm just trying to show you another way to make things happen with the polyline. Okay, and then this last one, I go up to here, and I go like that, and that's going to be 2.5, and pull it straight down like that. Boom, boom, like that. All right, like that. Okay, now that I've got that, that is in shape right there. That's looking pretty good. Now, here's the cool thing. Did I get that right? No, I didn't. That does not.
It was 35 degrees.
Yep, thank you. Eagle eye, thank you. All right, so I'm going to lock that in. Make it 30, 2.5, boom, and then pull that straight down, and we should be good to go. Okay, all right, there we go. Now, once I've got that, I got the basics. Okay, now, we talked before about what this looks like. Notice that you've got these different tabs. The tabs right here, notice I don't have two values. I've just got one. That means I just have to go in one direction, and the distance is 0.25. So that's not going to be an X and a Y. I just drag my cursor in the right direction, and that's how far I go. So this one is actually easier. If there's only one value, that's all I have. So I can only use that. So I don't have an X and a Y. I've got to basically go back to here and do this. So I'm going to go ahead and go here and go, I'll just use my polyline, what the heck. I'll go here. And this one goes straight down. So I'll lock it in straight down, 0.25, boom. And I want to go down in this direction. So I lock it in, and it's going to find this angle right here. And that's going to be 2.25, 2.25 like that. And then I go ahead and snap it right to there. Right there. That's what we have right there. And then I could go ahead and do the same thing here. Start here, 0.25, straight up. And then 2.25. And you'll notice that the, yeah, that's not right. They went too far. Should have been 2.25. Hang on a second here. Yeah, it looks like I made an error with this one. One of these I made a mistake with, looks like. Let me try it again. Make sure I got it all right. Okay, try that. Let me do another file line. I'll do a different one here. I'll do this one down here. Go from this angle here, lock it in, 0.25 like that, and 2.25, and then snap it like there. Very good. Now this, did I miss that? I don't know. I'll start from this angle over here. I'll go from here and go in this direction, 0.25, boom, and then 2.25. Oh, looks like, yeah, it looks like it is off right here. Okay, looks like I missed this one. I just have to redo that one. So I would have to go ahead and rebuild that. But anyway, that is, yeah, I'll go ahead and just do this real quickly here. And use the mirror command, which probably would have been safer actually now in hindsight. I can just use mirror. So I can use mirror and click on this. Use this shape. Okay, that's just, okay, that's going to be, okay, looks like that's all. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to do this then. I'm going to go ahead and I'll continue on through here. Looks like my machine failed me. So in this direction. And I want to make sure it's 30 degrees. So 2.5, boom, and then straight down. Yeah, that's good. And then the others would be just the same way. Here, 2.5, boom, and then down here. And yeah, my mouse is starting to act up right now. Sorry about that, guys. I'm starting to have, I'm starting to get some screen damage, and so I'm starting to miss points right now. Okay, so that's okay. We can figure it out. I think I can get this all together. Okay, 2.5 is actually another way to do this, but I'm just trying to show you the ways that we've worked with so far. Pull it down to here. Okay, that's good. And then we can go ahead and pull this. Okay, so let me go ahead and place these tabs. And they should be correct this time. So go to polyline right here. Hopefully this works. All right, like that. Okay, 0.25 boom. And then 2.25, 2.25. And then right there. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I had it drawn wrong. Happens to the best of us. All right, it happens. All right, 2.25, 2.25. And we'll go right to there. Very good, like that. And then up here, I'll go to polyline again. I'm going to start with polyline again here. And 0.25 boom. And 2.25, 2.25, and then down to here. And you get the idea. So that is how you would do drawing E, okay? So I'll save it as drawing E, and then I can do one more, and then it's going to be it for tonight. So I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save this as, or wherever I save it. Let's see where I'm saving it. No, I'm not do it there. Let's go to D. D, okay, and community college. All right, yep, go to here. CIT 112, CAD for construction spring 2021, and that's going to be drawing E. Like that. Okay, so I got that. So I'm going to show you one more. Now, this last example I'm going to show you right here is architectural, okay? And both of these right here are going to be architectural. I've got drawing F and I've got drawing G. And I'm going to show you guys how to do these. So I'm going to show you how to do drawing F and drawing G. So let me show you what they look like. Okay, so an architectural example, this is an architectural example because we're going to be doing architecture. This one has feet and inches. So therefore, since it has feet and inches, we have to use an architectural template, which is what we're going to do here. Because it's not just mechanical, we have to be able to put in feet and inches. So I prepared a template that has that in place. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to download that template. So where do I do that? I'd go out here, and I'd go out here to AutoCAD Intro Assignments Week 2, and I'd go here and I'd take a look, and I have this, which is the architectural template for F and G, okay, F and G. So I went ahead and use that one. So again, I do there, and it goes ahead, and it comes down there. There's my architectural template. I go back to AutoCAD, and I'm going to start a drawing using that template. So I go to New, and I'm going to go out here to where my downloads are. And so I go to my downloads and go to my architectural template. There it is, architectural template, drawings F and G. Now drawings F and G, let me go back to this one right now. When I go back to this one, just to make this clear, what this looks like, let's see here. Okay, back to here. Okay, so this is what we have right here. So this one, you're going to notice it's 4 feet down here. 4 feet around the bottom, and then I get to go up this distance right here, which is going to be 9 feet because it's over here. Then it's 1.6 foot over, then 6, and then I have to do the roof. So I'm going to go ahead and start in that. I'm going to start at the lower left and move from there. So I'm going to start with my polyline command. I could use line or polyline, just polyline for this one. I'm going to click here, and my distance up is 8 feet. And notice that it says feet right now. So I type in 8 feet. Notice I typed in a single quote. I didn't type in the number 8. I typed in 8 and a single quote. That's 8 feet. If you type in only 8, it'll be 8 inches. It'll be much too small. You'll wonder what went wrong. So you have to type in the foot symbol. Okay, then we're going to pull it over to the side. That's going to be 1.6 foot over here, and then it goes up 6 inches. All right, 6 inches like that. Okay, now at this point, this is where you get into something interesting right here. Right now, I'm going from this part over here. So I'm going over to the right, a distance of 10.6 foot. Is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Yeah. I'm going up 4.6 foot. Is that positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to say 10.6 foot, comma 4.6 foot. Boom. And it puts it right there. That's how we go ahead and do that. And then to do the other side, I would go ahead and put in positive for the first one and negative for the second. So 10.6 foot, comma, negative 4.6 foot. boom, like that. And once I do that, I'm able to go ahead and continue on through here. 6, and then 1'6".
Professor,
Yeah,
is it, do you put a like a point, or do you put a quote, like a comma?
it's a
Or,
single quote. It's a single quote,
Okay.
okay, which is right next to your enter key. You've got a double quote.
An apostrophe.
I'm sorry, what?
I think it's called an apostrophe.
Well, an apostrophe, it could be an apostrophe too. Also, it's a quote mark, okay? So both one, if you take a look at enter right there though, enter right there is actually right next to it. You'll see the single quote, which actually serves as the apostrophe too on there, okay? You see that next to the enter key, you got a double quote and a single quote. You see that? Next to your enter key on your keyboard, can you see that?
Yeah.
Single quote is a foot, okay? That's how you write 8 feet, okay? So then here at the bottom, I'm going to continue on through here. I'm going to go over here 4 feet. That's there. And then good question. Glad you asked. I'm sure somebody else had the question. So over 10 feet like that. Then I go down 8 feet. And this is all learning the basics of how these kind of things work. And when I'm all done, let's see if I can get that right. Okay, 10 feet over. Okay, looks like I went over, okay, I didn't go far enough, that's all. Okay, so 4 foot over. And then I just go ahead and snap it like that. And that's how you go ahead and create that. Now, when I go into this to put in my dimensions, piece of cake, I go here, I go to my linear, and I've already set these up to work nicely for this. So you go like that, there's your 10'6", and then you go over here, I click here and here, and that gives my 4'6" like that. And this is how you do this one. Any questions about this one at all?
Yeah, really quick.
Yeah.
When you're doing the other side of the roof, would it be the 10'6" first or the 4'6" first?
X always comes first and then Y. So if you ever can't remember, the X and the Y are shown down here. See this down here?
Right. Okay, so it'd be the 10'6".
10'6", comma 4'6".
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, very good. And then I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this as, any other questions about this one before I leave that one alone? Drawing F, okay. Run in, like that. Okay, this last one, drawing G. This one has a little, it's not a big deal, but it's a little bit of a curveball. I just want you guys to understand what's going to happen with this one. Okay, this one right down here, this will be the last one we do tonight, because these are all going to be due next week, okay? So drawing G looks like this. Now, this is rotated to the side, and that's fine. Okay, we can go ahead and do it this way. It's upside down, and you could actually do it, because this is the way I gave you the sheet. Or if you want to, you could rotate it, you know, around like this if it's easier for you. You can do it either way. So it's actually fine. If this is easier, just do it this way. So let me show you something here that's actually very important to recognize. And that is this right here. The distance here, it says it's 22 feet. The 22 feet, though, is the inside line. See that? It's the inside line. Out here, this says 15 feet 8. You see that? 15 feet 8? That goes to the full outside. That's because it's including the 4-inch thicknesses of the walls, because the walls are all 4 inches. How do we know that? Because it says it right up here. All right, that's where it says it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this. I'm going to go ahead and draw this, and we'll put this together for you guys. So to do this, same thing I did before. I go over to here, and I'm going to, now that I have that saved, I'll close it. And I'm going to make a new one. New drawing. And then I'm going to go out, oh, I'm sorry. New drawing, which is right here, new. And I'm going to go out to where my templates are. So again, I'm going to go out here. D. And, okay, wrong. Sorry, it's getting late. Starting to run out of gas here. I'm going to go here, and I want to go to my downloads. And I want my architectural template. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I could use a polyline, which actually will make things a little bit easier. So I'm going to use that. So polyline allows me to do this. So I'm going to show you a couple things here. So I'm going to do this. And my first line is going to be 15 feet 8. So I'm going to drag it down here, 15 feet 8. So 15 feet 8, like that. Now, once I've got that, as I pull this up here, let me ask you a question. I did the bottom, which is 15 feet 8, and then I'm going to go up here 22 feet. If I add the lengths, the thicknesses of the walls on either side, what would that 22 feet dimension actually be?
22'8".
22 feet 8, exactly. So I just type in 22 feet 8. Thank you very much. 22 feet 8, like that, boom. And then the same is true with my 18-foot dimension. It's actually 18 feet 8, 18 foot 8, boom. And then I go down here. It's got to be 14 foot 8, 14 foot 8, boom. And again, all the values are right here. I'm not just making this up. It's all right here. Now I'm right here. I'm located right here. So I have to go over this direction. Tell me it's 3 feet. I see it right down there. So over here, 3 feet, 3 feet. And I'll go ahead and pull this down like that and drop that. So I got that. So I went ahead and did that, and that's how that would work. Now, I did that, and that actually works out really nicely. Now, let me show you something that's very interesting here. Since I drew this as a polyline, I can just offset this using an offset command. Okay, so I've got this. It's a faster way of doing this. That's all one piece. So draw it with a polyline, you can do this cool step here. I'm going to show you one supercharged command right here, just one, okay? It's called offset. Offset is this one right here. It looks like a sideways U. You could also just type the letter O. Okay, if I type the letter O, it comes up as offset, okay? So I do this. Now it asks me for the offset distance. What is my thickness for the walls? My width for the walls?
4 inches.
4 inches. So I type in 4. Now watch this. I click on this. I pull it inside. Boom. There it is, okay? And so I've got that right there. So that is how I go ahead and put that together. Now at this point, I just go ahead and put some dimensions on here, make sure they're where they should be. So I'm gonna go ahead and go here to here. And that was gonna give me this right here. I'm gonna go this over, come on you. And I'll do this, and that tells me that's 22 feet. And I'm gonna go outside to outside here, just like we talked about. And we'll do like this. And so it looks like that, 15 feet 8. Okay, now, one of the things I wanna point out here is I've gotta put in this door. Now, the easiest way to put in the door, I'll show you how to do this. This is 3 feet, okay? So it's actually located right from here. So the distance from here, I have to know what the distance is from here to here. So I know it's 4 feet from the inside line here to the start of it, and the door itself is 3 feet. So I can go from this line right here and go down, and it's a distance of 4 feet. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So I'll start my line command, and I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna touch it here without clicking, and I'm gonna pull it down. I'm gonna type in 4 feet. And when I do that, I can pull it over across here, and it's going to be red on purpose. That's okay. I'm going to go like this, just so I can see it. Okay, come on, you go across here. Very good. Okay, so I just went ahead and did that. Now, since I had it on the wrong layer, I'm going to click on it, and when I click on it, I can then move to the correct layer by going like that. That's how you move an object to the correct layer. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do my line command, and the openness of the door is I'm going to go here, then go down 3 feet. And then I go ahead and go over here. And that gives me my door, right, like that, okay? So that does that. Now, there's a trim command. So I used offset and I used trim. Now the trim command goes like this. The trim command is very easy to use. I go up here, I want to trim out that door so that it takes out those lines. So I go to trim, then I just do this, boom. That's what you gotta do. So trim gets rid of that stuff very easily. So once I've got that, the only thing I have left right here is the door. Now the door is 3 feet, and then it's got a radius of 3 feet. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'll go to my line command here. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go over 3 feet. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use start and radius, which is an arc. So go to my arc right here. Arc allows me to do different options. Arc allows you to pick points and then basically tell it what you want. So I want to go ahead and use start, end, and radius. So I'll go start and radius. I'll click here. So my start point is here. My end point is here. My radius has got to be what? Radius is going to be 36, or for 3. So I'll type in 36 for 36 feet, for 36 inches, and boom, there it is. That's how you go ahead and do that. So that is how we do that. I'll do that one more time for you guys. All right. So what you would do is, first of all, you draw a line that's 36 inches long here, or 3 feet. You do it either way. Type in 3 feet. Boom. Oop, and I missed it. Getting late. Okay, 3 feet like that. And then I'm going to go to my arc, and I'm going to use start and radius. Start and radius, and it prompts me. So right now it says, what's the start point of the arc? It's here. What's the end point of the arc? I want it to end here. And then I pull it out here, and I can type in the size that I want it to be, which is going to be 3 feet. Boom, and that gives that to me. And when I have that together, then I can put the rest of my dimensions on, and I'll save that. So save as. That one right there is going to be drawing G. G. Right. And that is what I'd submit. So for next week, what you're going to do is you're going to submit the following drawings. You're going to submit these drawings going out to here. I'm going to go out to here to the very top here. And out here, what's due when? Okay, what is due when? Okay, what I did is I changed this. Oh, I didn't submit the right one. Okay, well, anyway, A, B, C, and D. We only did A and B last week. We actually, so we did this. So C and D, so C, D, E, F, and G are due for next week. Don't worry about H. We'll do H next week. So to be clear about this, I need C, D, E, F, and G. Don't worry about H. H I don't need. I'll show you this again so you guys are clear about it. Going into this right now, go right to here. Okay, so what I want is the following drawings I want to be handed in to me next week. And they're going to be C, D, E, F, and G. All right. H looks like this. We'll do that next week. So do not do H. I'll send an email that says this, but C, D, E, F, and G. I want those done. I want those handed in before class next week. And that's it. And
had
that's
a
all I'm going to cover for tonight. This question?
Yeah, sorry. On drawing G, how do you get the dimensions to look like that, like with the lines?
Oh, okay. I may have not have put that in there correct. Okay. Okay. You mean okay with what now? What exactly?
Like the dimensions have like diagonal lines on them.
Okay. Did you not use the template?
Oh, I wasn't drawing. Sorry, that's my
Okay.
bad.
The template does it automatically.
Okay, cool.
That you use does everything. What I just did there will be just as easy for you as long as you use a template. If you don't use a template, it's going to give you unexpected results. Okay, so I'm giving you a template to make your life easier because you're all brand new to AutoCAD. Well, most of
Gotcha.
you. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to park it right now. I'm going to park the bus right now, and that is all I'm going to cover. So that's all the lecture, and we're almost at 8 o'clock right now. So we have more time for you guys to use your lab. And again, as always, this is your time. I realize a lot of you have been up a long time like I have. You can stay here in class. I will stick around. I will go ahead and honor that time. And so if you guys are here, I'll be here to help you and coach you. Other than that, feel free if you need to, if you got something else going on, or if you want to, finish your drawing else, or maybe you already finished it. So you can go ahead and, so that's going to be it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go ahead and